Hello everybody, here we are talking about three teams that are doing really well at the start of the season compared to how I thought they would be doing. So before we get started with it, please make sure to subscribe if you're new to me or hockey, whatever the case may be. That being said, let's get on into it. So every year you're going to have good takes and bad takes, and I don't think these are egregiously bad takes, just that these teams are doing a little bit better than I expected. We're going to be going in alphabetical order here, starting off with the Carolina Hurricanes. All three teams that are on this list are kind of weird, but we'll get into that a little bit later. So kicking it off with Carolina, this has been a very good team for a while now. They won their division 3 years in a row from 2021 through 2023. And last year they didn't win their division, but they did go out there and finish with 111 points and have been just a threat come playoff time. Now, I think the big thing why I thought they were going to regress was the fact that the offseason didn't treat them particularly kind. They had a lot of guys that were able to contribute to this winning culture and build this thing up, end up leaving in free agency and whatnot. So I really thought that they were going to face a lot of challenges this year. Now, I did still expect them to be a team that finished with above 100 points, but I wasn't sure if they're going to be a side going out there and competing for the President's Trophy like they kind of have been for a minute now, being one of the top 3 teams in the league in the overall standings yearly. But so far, so good for this team as they are 13 games in and they have 10 wins. They recently just had an 8-game win streak that was snapped last night against Colorado Avalanche, but in general, things are just really looking good for this team. Not only they're winning, but they're winning big, and they are just a side that I don't really know why I kind of doubted them to that extent. I usually say buy into teams that have winning culture that have been established for a minute and don't, back off of them too much, which I think I did address in their season preview, saying I still think they'll be good, but I still should have believed in them. You've got Brendan Moore that signed that extension. You've got a lot of these core guys that are locked up to those deals, and they've just got a good group going for them, even though they did deal with a lot of those offseason punches. But I think right now it's kind of just a fun spot that they're in. They're second in the Metro. They could go out there theoretically and win their 4th division title within 5 years and are just fun. I mean, they've been fun for a minute now, but they continue to be fun. Clearly the reason that they are winning and doing well is because Martin Necas ended up dying as Sarah Pawn. No, not really, but maybe. But yeah, just in general, very excited to see what this team can do by the end of the year and hoping that they can maintain that winning culture, because it's good to see Carolina being healthy as a franchise compared to what we saw for a good chunk of the 2010s. Now, the second team on this list is the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas, again, a weird team that's on this. They've been a proven winner. They won the Stanley Cup back in 2023. They've made it to the Stanley Cup final 2 times in their 7 years as a franchise. So why exactly did I expect a drop off? I think that in general, they've just continuously lost depth pieces and star players and whatnot, and have kind of had to keep bringing people in. They've got some big contracts that they basically have done in their own doing to try to keep this team competitive, but then you had some concerns. I think down the middle, I was thinking they're going to be all right. I think their blue line looks okay, but I think out on the wing, I had some concerns, and then their goalies, I had concerns as well. But they are doing just fine. Again, they're second in the division right now. They're firing on all cylinders, and they have losses for sure, but they're all kind of close losses, and that's kind of one of those things that I love about it. They can either maybe get that goal and win in overtime and force overtime and get that goal to win in overtime, I should say, or they get the loser's point, which is critical for this team as they try to work their way up in the standings. Last year, a couple of years in general, we've seen this team maybe underperform, probably due to injuries, but I just really like what I'm seeing from this group. Again, you've got guys like Jack Eichel that are going out there and probably going to smash his career high for points. At this pace right now, he's at, I think, 128-point pace. His previous career high for points, I believe, was 82. And a great thing for Vegas is the fact that Pacific Division really only feels like a 4-team race at the moment. And I would say with a team like the Edmonton Oilers going out there and struggling mightily to kick off the year, even though it's not as bad as it seems, I think, in a lot of ways, it's still good for them. And you look at the fact that they have played the Los Angeles Kings already, and I think they picked up a win against them. They did have 1 loss too. They played 2 games less than LA and are right there with them for that division race. So I think that Vegas should certainly go out there and win their 4th division title in 8 years as a franchise, set themselves up well to go on a possible playoff run, remembering how they almost could have gone on a run last year. They're still dangerous, and even guys like Victor Olofsson, once he returns to the lineup, he is going to be a player that may contribute. He's got 3 goals in 4 games. I'm a little worried about Mark Stone, which is kind of why I thought they could see a little bit of a drop-off as they are relying on those stars. But they did bring in some pieces last offseason, or really even before that, the trade deadline period as well, to kind of beef up this lineup and give them a little bit more of that potent punch that we've seen for Vegas before. So maybe another division title, maybe another cup. We'll see. And then the final team that we're talking about here makes me look a little goofy, and we have the Winnipeg Jets. I will say, to kick off this video, we're seeing a historic Winnipeg team at the moment, not only for Winnipeg, but in the NHL, as last night they picked up a 4-1 win over Dallas. Whew, talk about good there. That is their 14th win in 15 games. No other team has ever done that before in NHL history. This is a fantastic start for a Jets team that built off of a quality year last year, and I felt like really why I thought they might have a hard time competing for the top spot in the division especially. was just the fact that the Central looked really good. Colorado, Nashville, Dallas, Minnesota, just some of these teams that really could pack a punch and make life difficult. It's a deep division, and I think that that's where I thought that maybe Winnipeg would kind of get in a struggle match where everybody's kind of knocking each other down, pulling each other down while they're trying to get to the top. And that's not been the case. The Jets had a great year from Connor Hellebuyck last year. They're getting another high-quality year from Connor Hellebuyck this year, another Vezina-caliber season, if you will. The power play is clicking. They've got 4 guys that are averaging over a point per game, a lot of guys that are nearly at a point per game. They've got a variety of older players and younger players contributing. The power play is the best in the league at the moment. I think one of the bigger knocks on them at the moment is the fact that they have 7 comeback wins in their first 15 games. We kind of already addressed that a little bit in a video, I think it was last week for Winnipeg, talking about how the Jets have the tendency maybe to go down 1 goal and then just bounce right back. So I'm not really concerned by that. A good team may give up a goal early. Hellebuyck locks in, the team ends up getting a power play opportunity, scores a goal, and then just, they keep coming at you in waves, and they're having career years for guys like Neil Pionk and whatnot. So just fantastic. And I really hope this actually manifests into something big for the Jets come playoff time, because this organization hasn't been able to achieve much come playoff time. So 3 teams that have proven to have winning cultures over the years, but I did feel like we're going to face challenges, whether that be off-season losses, just the fact that they are overly reliant on stars or in a tough division, doesn't seem to be phasing them. Again, buy into winning cultures and see if they can go out there and prove you wrong. Because if they prove you wrong, then you can say maybe it's time to turn the tide a little bit. But winning cultures typically stay winning cultures for a long time. Even look at a team like Boston. They've been a proven winning culture for a minute, and they're just now at a spot where people are saying they're falling apart when they're at like an 80-something point pace. So anyway, that basically wraps up the video. I'm sure there's plenty of other teams that I'm wrong about at this stage of the season. I kind of felt like Dallas was my lock to be the Central Division winner and Stanley Cup winner, so maybe that ends up not being the right pick, but it's just what it is. I love talking about hockey, and again, nobody's going to be perfect. So let me know your thoughts down below on some teams that maybe are doing better than you expected. Also, please make sure to like this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Everybody stay safe. Have a great night. And you go love hockey, all right. Goodbye, Brigadiers and Brigadettes. This is your captain signing off. Have a great night.